Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Just a couple of announcements. We are going to celebrate the 51st anniversary of their Lordships Shri Shri Radha Gopinath on the 16th of May. As we did last year, from continuing on with the tradition of last year, moving forward we'll be celebrating anniversary festival as a 3-day event. So on the 14th we would do the Adivas ceremony, followed by 24-hour Kirtan. 15th of May is Narsimha Chaturthasi, the divine appearance day of Lord Narsimhadev. Shri Narsimhadev Bhagwan Ki Jai. So on that evening, we'll be doing a Narsimha Mahayagya. And on the 16th of May, which is Shri Shri Radha Gopinath's anniversary day, we will have a special class on Shri Shri Radha Gopinath that will be given by Narasimha Kavacha Prabhu in the morning, and in the evening 6 p.m. the festival class will be given by His Holiness Devamrit Swami Maharaj. 7 o'clock Gaur Arati, 7:30 we'll have Abhishek, and 9:15 we have Maharati. We'll serve the festival Prasadam feast every evening on each of those 3 days, 14th, 15th and 16th of May at 5:30 p.m. So there are a lot of items that are available for sponsoring to take part in this beautiful festival. So those of you who are interested, you can do the donations at iskcon.com.au/donate, or if you are in the temple here, you can make the donation at the reception. And the information about all the items available, you can find them in Facebook, website, WhatsApp, Instagram, everywhere. Speaking about making donation, tomorrow is Akshaya Tritiya. It's a beautiful day to make a donation as well. Tomorrow is a very special day when many significant events happened. I'll quickly go through the list. There is like more than a dozen. I have about 10 here. I will go through them. And whatever that we do on this day will become indestructible. That's why it's called Akshaya. Akshaya means indestructible. So, Akshaya Tritiya, it's a day when whatever activity that you do will become indestructible. If you want to take any new initiative, tomorrow is the day. If you want to make any donation, tomorrow is the day when you will get unlimited benefits for everything that you do. So, tomorrow, which is 4th of May, is Akshaya Tritiya. Lord Parashuram, he appeared on this day. As we know who Lord Parashuram is, Shakti Avesh avatar of the Supreme Lord. So tomorrow is his birthday. Mother Ganga descended to earth on this day. So tomorrow is the day when Mother Ganga descended. This is also the first day of Treta Yuga. So today is the last day of Kali Yuga. I'm sorry, Satya Yuga. So tomorrow is the birthday of Treta Yuga as well. Sudama Vipra, he visited Krishna at Dwarka on this day. Pandavas received Akshaya Patra from Sun God. You know that pastime. The bowl, special bowl that is given by Sun God to Pandavas, especially to Mother Draupadi, would give unlimited food. So that boon was received by Pandavas on this day. Vyasadev started composing Mahabharata on this day. So tomorrow is also the birthday. Like Gita Jayanti, this is Mahabharata Jayanti. So that is tomorrow. Adi Shankaracharya composed Kanakadara Stotram on this day. Kubera received his wealth and position as the custodian of wealth. It is also said that goddess Annapurni Devi appeared on this day. So she is also a Devi. She is in charge for, like Bimala Devi. She is responsible for feeding not just humans, all the 8.4 million species. So this is her birthday as well, goddess Annapurna. The construction of chariots for Rathayatra begins on the day of Akshaya Tritiya. So if you go to Puri, they build these huge chariots, 3 chariots, for Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra Maharani. They start the construction on this day. The temple of Kirshore Gopinatha in Ramuna, Orissa, deities of Madan Mohan, Govinda, Gopinatha are smeared with sandalwood pulp on this auspicious. So tomorrow also, like Caitanya, they smear sandalwood pulp on this day. Very auspicious day. There are many more events. As you can see, this is a tithi that's there since time immemorial. So understanding the significance of this, all special events happened on these days. So over the year, across many yugas, across many cycles of Chatur Yuga, many events commenced on this day. Akshaya Tritiya Maha Mahotsav Ki Jai. So that's tomorrow. Good day to make a sankalpa, to do some spiritual practice. Could be regular reading, chanting, doing some service for Radha Gopinath. Good day for actually making donation. So please take this wonderful opportunity. Good day to have the opportunity for devotees to come and offer Aarti Thali. We have the man in charge here. So we can do a lot of activities on this day, but the most important thing is, the only thing that we desire in our life is eternal service of Shri Radha Gopinath. So good day to do anything in the service of the Lordships. Okay, let's continue. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Antya chapter 4, text 85. We are in the concluding section of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct instructions to Sanatana Goswami. As you remember, this chapter, it talks about Sanatana Goswami visiting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri. So, just to recap, Sanatana Goswami, he was planning to give up his body, falling in front of the chariot wheel of Lord Jagannath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, reading his mind, he discouraged him, telling nobody gets a Krishna prema by falling in front of the chariot wheel or giving up one's body. How do we get Krishna prema? By doing devotional service. That's the only way. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went on to say, your body is mine, you have given it to me, you can never take it away. So when Sanatana Goswami actually heard it, he became very, very happy. We were discussing how even in Ramanujacharya's pastime, Kuresh, how Ramanujacharya said, your body you have given to me. Same way, here if we see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that you have given this body to me, so you cannot take it away. So this particular pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dealing with the Sanatana Goswami, we can actually take a lot of lessons from it. How everything, Prabhupada actually says that in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that because Krishna is always inside us, it's very easy to please him. We can connect with Krishna by so many different ways. And Prabhupada says, simply by doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Krishna is satisfied. It doesn't take much to satisfy Krishna. So because we are with Krishna always, simply by doing devotional service, Prabhupada says it's very easy. On the other hand, it takes so much endeavor to glide down to hell. Prabhupada says like that. Because to be able to forget Krishna is very, very difficult. It's not easy at all. Once a disciple asked His Holiness Kadamkana Swami Maharaj, Maharaj, I find it very hard to finish 16 rounds. Maharaj says, no problem. From tomorrow onwards, don't chant Hare Krishna. You follow this for a week. And then Maharaj said, and then you will find that it's actually much more difficult not to chant Hare Krishna than to chant Hare Krishna. So Maharaj said, now that you have started practicing Hare Krishna, you have only two choices. Either you can be a happy devotee or unhappy devotee. You can never become a non-devotee now. It's too late. He said, you have already given everything. Too late. So Prabhupada says it's actually very easy to practice Krishna consciousness. You simply come, even hear the conch. It is so heartening to hear the conch, the sound of the conch. Your hair standing on end just simply by hearing. So, simply by somehow or other staying in contact with Radha Gopinath, it becomes very easy. Last week, I think it was last Sunday evening, I was in the car park speaking to some guests, and there was a little girl with her parents, and the girl is pointing at me and she is actually saying, YouTube Prabhu, YouTube Prabhu. Then the parents are correcting her, no, this is Ghanashyam Prabhu. Then she is saying, no, YouTube Prabhu. Then I told the parents, look, the kid is not at fault. I think you should start coming to temple more often. If your only connection to temple is through Mayapur TV, what do you expect the kid to know? So sometimes technology, we don't know whether they are boon or bane. On one hand, convenience is there, but then convenience can also lead to complacency, lethargy. If you remember, we were touching on this point. Becoming humble, generally, if you take humility as an abstract quality, it becomes very difficult to cultivate. How can you be very conscious of being humble? But something which is more easier to practice is to simply feel grateful, to simply count on all the blessings that has actually come our way. Feel blessed for being alive. My classmates, since I actually came to Australia, 11 of them passed away. 8 of them passed away before they even touched 30. I feel very fortunate to be still alive. For one reason or the other, accident, drowned while swimming, heart attack, so on and so forth. Suicide. One of my friends, she passed away due to COVID. So, there are so many things for which we can actually feel grateful, very grateful. To be able to have prasad, to be able to read Srila Prabhupada's books, to be able to be little sane, to be in the association of devotees, to be in a position to call Sri Radha Gopinath as our father and mother. To be in a position to be free from distress. Prabhupada says, the reason why we should not chase after economic development is, Prabhupada says, reason for why we should not chase economic development is, to keep progress in economic development is impossible. There can be economic development just for some time. Prabhupada says it's impossible to sustain it, which means it will always lead to distress. So that's the reason if you see first canto, when Vyasadeva was very morose after compiling all the Vedas, Narada Muni appears on his own, sensing the voidism, the void in the heart of Vyasadeva, and then he gives advice. You are a great devotee, you have so far glorified about the Supreme Lord, but the emphasis was so much more on Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha only. Something which you composed, if you think this is going to do good to people, he said, look at you, it doesn't satisfy even you, It doesn't satisfy even one of the authors of Bhagavad Gita, I don't want to use names, translation of Bhagavad Gita, pseudo. He died out of depression. Now if you think about it, what kind of an author are you if the knowledge which you have supposedly written on those books doesn't even help you to be happy. What to speak of, benefiting the other people. So there, Narada Muni actually says, Tasyaiva heta prayateta kovida na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyada tal labhyate dukkavatarnyasta shukam kalena sarvatra gabira ramasa. He says that human life should never be utilized to gain something which is already due to you, just like which you already deserve. Just like the distress that comes to you uninvited, happiness also comes to you uninvited. Just like how you can't hold on to distress forever, you can't hold on to happiness also forever, or vice versa. So he says, so human intelligence, human energy should be used only to attain that which is normally not attainable, which your karma doesn't bring. Bhakti is not brought to you by karma. Nobody deserves bhakti. So bhakti won't come to us. Going back to spiritual world, yes, in one sense it is everyone's right, but when we find ourselves in this position of predicament wherein we have already caused so much karmic reactions through all our activities, we find ourselves in the position where we are entangled. So technically we don't deserve. It's like somebody in jail after committing a series of murders, put behind the bars. They can't say, I deserve to be free. No, your activity doesn't say so. So you find yourself behind the bars. The same way, since time immemorial, we have been doing activities, accruing a lot of karmic reactions, and they are pulling us down. So we don't deserve. So what Narada Muni is telling to Vyasadeva is, to be able to free from this karma, it's not something which is in the astrological chart of every jiva, unless they make an endeavor. Happiness will come to you based on your past karma. Distress will come to you based on your past karma. But the ticket to go to Golak Vrindavan won't come to you based on karma. So that's the point Narada Muni says through this verse. Na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyada. Upari ada means down, upar means up. He says even if you go to Brahmaloka, you will still come down. You can go to any of the 14 planetary systems, up and down, still it won't come to you. You can be born anywhere, still the free ticket to Goloka will never come to you. That's why the gratitude, again, we should feel towards Srila Prabhupada. It's not just a mechanical exercise, but it is a genuine outpour, it's a genuine feeling we should feel in our heart. Because even if somebody manages to go to Indraloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, anywhere, still one doesn't deserve to get free ticket to go to Golak Vrindavan. It's not possible. So Narada Muni says to Vyasadeva, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, you spoke about all this in each one of your compilations in the past, through the Vedas, Puranas, now you glorify the Supreme Lord Krishna. Simply by hearing that, if somebody endeavors to simply hear that, then they will attain a qualification with which they'll be able to go back to the spiritual world. So he says any activity that we do should be for this one purpose only. Prabhupada says this is for this purposeful end. This should be the only goal. Because everything else, Prabhupada says, as soon as a jiva is born in this world, everything is there automatic. Automatically arranged by Mother Nature. Food is there, eating, sleeping, mating, defending also is there. Everything is already given. Even for, not only for humans, for all the species. There is one Vaishnava Acharya. When he was a Grahastha, he was told by his spiritual master to take sannyasa. But then he had this concern, if I go and take sannyas, what will happen to my family? Natural, Prabhupada also narrates how in his dream, his spiritual master would actually come and tell him, you should take sannyas. And Prabhupada takes sannyas. And Prabhupada says, yes, in one lecture Prabhupada is telling, yes, I had to give up my family, wife, children. But Krishna has actually brought me thousands of sons and daughters now. And everyone is saying, Haribo. So, this Acharya is thinking, what will happen to my body? Well, rather, to my family. So then as he was sitting contemplating, he sees a small lizard. You will commonly find in homes in India. I recently spotted one in our garden. After like 16, 17 years of my stay in Australia, I finally spotted one. So if you see how they catch the prey, they have the long tongue, sticky tongue. They have just unleashed their tongue. The tongue would actually extend to a few centimeters, touch the prey, and then it just pulls back in. The prey can't escape. So this lizard, as this Acharya was contemplating, he saw one of the eggs of this lizard getting hatched. So he was curious, so he was just watching. As soon as the baby lizard comes out, now baby lizard needs food now, right? As soon as it comes out, there is one small tiny insect a few centimeters away. The baby lizard opens the mouth, tongue goes out, catches the prey, comes in. Now nobody taught this baby lizard to actually how it should catch the prey, how it should eat, how it should hunt its prey. It was there already. Arrangement is already there. So all of this is already, Prabhupada says, as soon as somebody is born, there is arrangement for eating, sleeping, mating when the time comes to pass at that time, and defending also. Everyone is there. So one should not endeavor for any of these activities, because one will get what is due at the right time based on their karma. So Prabhupada actually says one should, in this case Narada Muni, he says to Vyasadeva, every activity that we do should be simply to gain that which doesn't come to one automatically. Otherwise, have you seen in airport, you have this like conveyor belt moving luggage. There's a similar conveyor belt, they call it travelator. You stand on there and it will move. So you will get it. You don't need to run in that. You just stand in that. It will keep moving and you will go to the destination. So it's extremely important that we understand about the purpose of life, because there's only so much time we have. As I said, every time this point comes about, you can die at any time. I always remember my classmates. 11. Big number. So, it can come any time. So, we have to be prepared for it. We have to be ready for it all at any time. Now, when can we be ready? If we prepare for the final moment, Antya Narayana Smriti, throughout our life. Then we will come to a point when we will be ready to quit. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after giving him advice about not quitting his body, he then gives him instructions. We saw about excavating holy places, installing deities, writing books about devotional service, establishing the supremacy of Krishna, writing standards of devotional service. And Srila Sanatana Goswami, he fulfills each one of those instructions. He installed Madan Mohanji, excavated holy places, wrote many books, Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Krishna Leela Stava. So you'll come across many Hari Bhakti Vilas, book on following the Vaishnava calendar, deity worship, everything is based on that. So here he fulfills that. So my dear Lord, as you cause one to dance, he dances accordingly, but how he dances and who is causing him to dance, he does not know. So he is glorifying him after hearing the instructions. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said to Haridas Thakur, my dear Haridasa, please hear me. This gentleman wants to destroy another's property. This gentleman here refers to Sanatana Goswami. Another's property refers to Sanatana Goswami's body, which belongs to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who is entrusted with another's property does not distribute it or use it for his own purposes. Therefore, tell him not to do such an unlawful thing. Haridas Thakur replied, we are falsely proud of our capabilities. Actually, we cannot understand your deep intentions. Unless you inform us, we cannot understand what your purpose is or what you want to do through whom. My dear sir, since you, a great personality, have accepted Sanatana Goswami, he is greatly fortunate. No one can be as fortunate as he. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced both Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami and then got up and left to perform his noon duties. So this Acharya, after seeing the baby lizard catching its prey, he understood, I am not the one who is taking care of my family. Then he goes, takes the sannyas. My dear Sanatana, Haridas Thakura said, embracing him, no one can find the limits of your good fortune. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after speaking to Sanatana Goswami in the presence of Haridas Thakur, he then goes back to the temple. So now the section which we are going to read from verse 93 onwards is a beautiful conversation between Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur and how they glorify each other. My dear Sanatana, Haridas Thakur said, embracing him, no one can find the limits of your good fortune. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has accepted your body as his own property. Therefore, no one can equal you in good fortune. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot do with his personal body, he wants to do through you. And he wants to do it in Mathura, which is Vrindavan. Whatever the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants us to do will successfully be accomplished. This is your great fortune. That is my mature opinion. I can understand from the words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he wants you to write books about the conclusive decision of devotional service and about the regulative principles ascertained from the revealed scriptures. My body could not be used in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, although it took birth in the land of India, this body has been useless. Sanatana Goswami replied, O Haridas Thakura, who is equal to you? You are one of the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, you are the most fortunate. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for which he has descended as an incarnation, is to spread the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Now, instead of personally doing so, he is spreading it through you. My dear sir, you are chanting the holy name 300,000 times daily and informing everyone of the importance of such chanting. This verse is very important, 102. Apane achare keha, nakare prachara, prachara karene keha, nakare nachara. Some behave very well, but do not preach the cult of Krishna consciousness. Whereas others preach, but do not behave properly. Achara prachara namera karaha duikarya. Tumi sarva guru tumi jagatera arya. You simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name by your personal behavior and by your preaching. Therefore, you are the spiritual master of the entire world, for you are the most advanced devotee in the world. So, there are two words that are used, Achar and Prachar. Achar means personal behavior. Prachar means to preach. Sanatana Goswami is saying, for some people, Achar is good, behavior is very good, but their Prachar is very bad. They won't preach. For some people, Achar is not very good, but they are interested in Prachar. They are interested only in preaching. But then he says, you, dear Haridas Thakura, perform both the duties in relation to the holy name by your personal behavior and by your preaching. So personally, Haridas Thakur, his Achar, if you see, he is chanting 300,000 times holy name of Krishna every single day. But then if you look at his Prachar, he also used to participate in Harinam, go for door-to-door book distribution, go for door-to-door Sankirtan. Him and Nityananda Prabhu would go every door. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would send them together. They would go knock on every door, ask them to chant Hare Krishna, and then in the evening they would come back and they would give report to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, it was only during one of those expeditions they came across Jagai Madai. At that time, Haridas Thakur tells to Nityananda, they are drunkards, let's move on. Nityananda says no. So that whole pastime happened during their preaching exercise. So Haridas Thakur, same, he comes to Puri. Here also, he is still continuing with this 300,000 holy names chanting every day. But then he would still participate in Nagar Sankirtan. He was still participating with preaching, with sharing this knowledge with everyone. So he is saying, because you simultaneously perform both the duties, which is Achar by personal behavior as well as Prachar by preaching, you are the spiritual master of the entire world. So this is the qualification to be a guru. For you are the most advanced devotee in the world. I'll read this purport. Prabhupada says, Sanatana Goswami clearly defines herein the bona fide spiritual master of the world. The qualifications expressed in this connection are that one must act according to the scriptural injunctions and at the same time preach. Both are important. One who does so is a bona fide spiritual master. Haridas Thakur was the ideal spiritual master because he regularly chanted on his beats a prescribed number of times. Indeed, he was chanting the holy name of the Lord 300,000 times a day. 3 lakh. Similarly, the members of the Krishna consciousness movement chant a minimum of 16 rounds a day, which can be done without difficulty. And at the same time, they must preach the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu according to the gospel of Bhagavad Gita as it is. One who does so is quite fit to become a spiritual master for the entire world. Which means anyone can become, Matajis, Prabhujis, anyone can become spiritual master if their Achar and Prachar, both are good. Achar, Prabhupada says, is to chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles, and Prachar is one should spread this knowledge. And this way, everyone should become a spiritual master for the entire world. In this way, the two of them passed their time discussing subjects concerning Krishna. Thus, they enjoyed life together. This is Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur. During the time of Rathayatra, all the devotees arrived from Bengal to visit the car festival as they had done previously. During the Rathayatra festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again danced before the car of Jagannatha. When Sanatana Goswami saw this, his mind was astonished. The Lord's devotees from Bengal stayed at Jagannath Puri during the 4 months of the rainy season, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced Sanatana Goswami to them all. These 3 verses lists the names of all great devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Nityananda, Srivasa Vakreshwara, Vasudeva Murari Raghava Damodara, Puri Bharti Swarupa Pandita Gadadhara, Sarvabhauma Ramananda, Jagadananda Shankara, Kashishwara Govindadi Yata Bhaktagana, Sabha Shane Sanatanera, Karaila Milana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced Sanatana Goswami to these and other selected devotees. Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Srivas Thakur, Vakreshwara Pandit, Vasudev Datta, Murari Gupta, Raghava Pandit, Damodar Pandit, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, Swarup Damodara, Gadadhar Pandit, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramananda Roy, Jagadananda Pandit, Shankara Pandit, Kashishwara, Govinda, all stalwart devotees and preachers. The Lord asked Sanatana Goswami to offer obeisances to all the devotees in a way that befitted each one. Thus, he introduced Sanatana Goswami to them all just to make him an object of their mercy. Sanatana Goswami was dear to everyone because of his exalted qualities and learning. So that's why he is very dear, because of his exalted qualities. Suitably, therefore, they bestowed upon him mercy, friendship, and honor. When all the other devotees returned to Bengal, before we go, they bestowed upon him mercy, friendship, and honor. Friendship in Krishna consciousness is not developed based on prajalpa. Prajalpa means talking all mundane topics, gossips. So here if you see, Sanatana Goswami was dear to everyone because of his exalted qualities and learning. This is from Sanatana Goswami's side. Now how are these stalwart devotees reciprocating with him? Suitably therefore, they bestowed upon him mercy. Mercy, then there is friendship, and then there is honor. Even though they are all superior devotees, exalted devotees, personal associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Sanatana Goswami, they are showing him affection, mercy, they are showing him friendship, but then there is honor also. So relationship in Krishna consciousness should be in line with Vaishnava etiquette. My Guru Maharaj says, in material world it's very easy to mistake what one is actually telling us. It's very easy to misinterpret. And two people may be best friends for so many years. But just as one instance when some miscommunication happens, the whole relationship comes down crashing. My Guru Maharaj says, but in Vaishnava etiquette, if you see, as long as two devotees, they follow Vaishnava etiquette, they'll be protected from aparad. The whole idea of Vaishnava etiquette is to, etiquette protocol means there is a certain system. In one sense, let's say, driving car on the road, you have to drive on the left side of the road. That's a protocol. So this Vaishnava etiquette is also a protocol. You look at other devotee, you smile, you greet. That's a protocol. Otherwise it's aparadh, it's given. If you don't look at a devotee and smile, acknowledging the devotee's presence, it's considered aparadh. Same way, materially speaking, sometimes if you see few people, few friends, they may pull each other's legs to put one of them down for some fun. That doesn't come under Vaishnava behavior. Vaishnava behavior is about glorifying, honoring others. Now we may think, what's so fun about glorifying others? No, Krishna has got the greatest sense of humor. One of 25 qualities of Srimati Radharani, if you see, she is very expert in telling jokes that will make Krishna laugh. So humor is there, but the humor should be in line or should be within the realm of Vaishnava etiquette. Anything, if it transgresses that, then that will cause Vaishnava aparadha. So here, even though they are superior, could be due to age, seniority in Krishna consciousness can be due to many aspects. Age is one criteria. Somebody may be older, elder, and they are worthy of respect. Somebody may be more advanced in Krishna consciousness, even though younger. Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, you will come across pastimes, Raghunandan, Gopal Guru, they are all youngsters, like little boys, but exalt 4 Kumaras. So you will come across many instances where devotees are actually held in very high esteem, not necessarily due to the age of the body, but due to the maturity, the advancement in Krishna consciousness. So here, even though they are in one sense mentioned that they are more advanced because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking them to bestow their mercy upon him. But still, they bestowed upon him mercy, friendship, and honor. Very important. Relationship in Krishna consciousness, between anyone, husband and wife, two Prabhus, two Matajis, any kind of relationship should be based on Vaishnava etiquette, should be based on honoring. That's why it is said, whenever we deal with the devotees, we have to understand the third person in the relationship who is standing just behind the devotee. Krishna. Gopinath is everywhere, so we have to be very, very careful, conscious of that. When all the other devotees returned to Bengal after the Rathayatra festival, Sanatana Goswami stayed under the care of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How many of you like to stay under the care of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kalam nashta bhakti yogam nijamya pradushkartam Krishna Chaitanya nama avirbhutastasya padaravinde gadam liyatam chitta bringa. This is a verse glorified by, or rather sung by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, glorifying about the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, Kalam nashta bhakti yogam nijamya. This science as it is was given or was transferred through disciplic succession. But the science, in due course of time, as it is, appears to be lost. We come across that in Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishya vidu sakaleneha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. It's given. So same way, this verse also glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kalam nashta. Nashtam means what? Loss. Due to the sign of time, due to the influence of time, this science of Bhakti Yoga got lost. Kalam nashta bhakti yogam nijamya, in its true form. Pradushkartam Krishna Chaitanya nama. In order to re-establish that, the same Supreme Lord came down as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Avirbhutas tasya padaravinde. Avirbhuta, he appeared. Tasya padaravinde gadam liyatam chitta bringa. To that lotus feet of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has come down as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are circling around that lotus feet. Like how? Liyatam chitta bringa. Just like how bumblebees would actually circle around a lotus. So that's the comparison he used. Sanatana Goswami observed the Rathayatra ceremony with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, his pleasure increased in the company of the Lord. Sanatana Goswami had come to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri during the month of April-May. During the month of May-June, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tested him. In that month of May-June, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the garden of Yameshwara, Lord Shiva, and accepted prasadam there at the request of the devotees. At noon, when it was time for lunch, the Lord called for Sanatana Goswami, whose happiness increased because of the call. At noon, the sand on the beach was as hot as fire, but Sanatana Goswami came by that path, overwhelmed by joy at being called by the Lord. Let's just take a moment to meditate on this point. At noon, when it was time for lunch, the Lord called for Sanatana Goswami. Imagine some devotee comes and calls you, Radha Gopinath called you. How will you feel? I remember during my initiation ceremony here in this temple, my Guru Maharaj actually told, okay, so today you all will get new names, spiritual names. This is the name with which Radha Gopinath will call you when you go to spiritual world. So always remember your spiritual name. But here, that's what's happening to Sanatana Goswami. Same Supreme Lord is calling him, come for prasad. At noon, the sand on the beach was as hot as fire, but Sanatana Goswami came by that path, overwhelmed by joy at being called by the Lord. Sanatana Goswami did not feel that his feet were burning in hot sand. Although the soles of his feet were blistered because of the heat, he nevertheless went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There he found that the Lord, having taken his lunch, was resting. Govinda gave Sanatana Goswami the plate with the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's food. After taking the prasadam, Sanatana Goswami approached Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When the Lord inquired, by which path have you come? Sanatana Goswami replied, I have come on the path along the beach. Now, we have to understand, when the Lord inquired, by which path have you come, it sounds like a very mundane query, correct? Imagine you come here, you arrive at the temple for a festival, and you are very eager to come and take darshan. Somebody stops you and asks you, so which path did you choose or use to come to the temple? M2, M7, Victoria Road, Parramatta Road? How? You'll be like, why is he wasting my time? This comes under Prajalpa, doesn't it? No. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking this question, and we have to take a note of this point, because there are many details that we come across in the execution of our devotional service. And if you read the section where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies his devotees with a little care, you will notice Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is noticing those small details, whatever little austerity there may be. But they notice it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu notices it. And you will see, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies Raghava Pandit, at that time he would say, no, anybody can say, I have altar in my home, I have Radha Krishna deities in my home, yeah, I offer them bhoga. In Vedic times, this is 500 years ago, it's no big deal in one sense. That's the standard lifestyle of any devotee. But Raghava Pandit, despite being such a big landlord, he had so much coconuts in his own plantation, but he still traveled so far, paying many times the cost to get quality coconuts, brings it, soaks them in a big trough of water to make it more cool, and he gets his servant to bring it inside for offering. But as he is bringing it, the servant is holding coconut in one hand, and with the other hand he just touched the ceiling. It's not even the ceiling, it's the top portion of the door. And then Raghava Pandit rejects those coconuts, saying, you have touched the door. But the servant says, my lord, I didn't touch the floor, I have touched the door. He said, yeah, but the dust could have risen and it could have stayed there, and you have touched it, so it's contaminated. He rejects it. Sometimes you may see this almost sounds like a OCD, obsessive cleaning disorder. But no, this is Vaishnava standard, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu notices it. And when he glorifies Raghava Pandit in presence of everyone, he highlights it. Likewise, if you see, each and every instance when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies his devotees, he will go through so much detail. When he glorifies about even the writings of Srila Rupa Goswami, he would say, the way how you have written the script glorifying about these verses, let alone the contents of the verses, even just looking at your writing, it looks like pearls strung on a thread. He would say like that. So systematic, so even, and so beautiful to look at. Have you got experience looking at some devotee's notebook, even from your, could be even in your school days somewhere, or someone else's. It may look very, very neat. Whether you like reading or not, you will still feel like looking at it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu notices it. So, the detail with which we practice Krishna consciousness, we execute our devotional service, Prabhupada says, attention to detail is a sign of love. So, here, Sanatana Goswami, he chose a certain path to come. He came, the very fact that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has called for me, that alone is enough. Once Akbar, he was on an expedition, hunting expedition. So then he goes little away from his palace and he is staying in the tent. When the noontime comes, he sits there and he does namas, glorifying the Supreme Lord. And as he is performing his afternoon prayers, at that time, an old lady, she just happened to run past his tent as he was praying just outside the tent. She stamps on his feet and she just keeps running. Akbar got disturbed and then he ordered her to be brought. And when she comes, he asks her, "Do you know who I am?" And he says, "Yes, I know, you are Akbar. I was offering my prayers here and you disturbed me. Not only did you disturb, but you literally kicked me. And then, because of that, I think you deserve punishment. Somebody who is offering prayers, you disturbed." Then this old lady, much to the surprise of Akbar, she started laughing. Then Akbar asked, "Are you not afraid of the punishment?" And she says, "Punishment, will come to that later. I was in my home when I actually got the news that my son had fallen down from a tree and his life is in danger. I was so much engrossed in what happened to my son, I didn't even notice someone was in front of me offering prayer, let alone the great emperor." And then she says, "If this is my consciousness, when I was running simply to take care of my boy, I'm just laughing because you are actually, through prayers, you are supposed to be in communion with the Lord. I'm so attached to my boy that I didn't even notice you. Why was your prayers lacking such level of concentration? Even if somebody had kicked you, why did you get disturbed?" Then Akbar hears that and he accepts that argument and he lets her free. So here, focus. Sanatana Goswami is elated that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has called me, and all he remembers is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling me. I am his. My body is his, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling me for honoring prasadam. So he is running. But he chose the path which is very hot beach sand. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "How did you come along the beach where the sand is so hot? Why didn't you come by the path in front of the Simhadwara gate?" It is very cool. Simhadwara refers to the main gate on the eastern side of Jagannatha temple. "The hot sand must have blistered your soles. Now you cannot walk. How did you tolerate it?" Sanatana Goswami replied, "I did not feel much pain, nor did I know that there were blisters because of the heat. I have no right to pass by the Simhadwara, for the servants of Jagannatha are always coming and going there. The servants are always coming and going without interval. If I touch them, I shall be ruined." Having heard all these details, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, greatly pleased, spoke as follows: "My dear Sanatana, although you are the deliverer of the entire universe, and although even the demigods and great saints are purified by touching you, It is the characteristic of a devotee to observe and protect the Vaishnava etiquette. Maintenance of the Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. Very important. Spiritual master can joke with us, but we shouldn't joke back. Krishna is Supreme Lord. He can come down to the level of a devotee, putting his hand around the shoulders of a devotee. That is his greatness, sweetness of bhakti. If we try doing it, we'll be called as Sahajyas, Prakrita Sahajyas. So, great personalities they can do, but we cannot do. We should always remember our position, and then we should always be satisfied. Such a great Lord, Radha Gopinath, Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are allowing us to call them as our father and mother. That alone is enough. Maintenance of Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. Tatapi bhakta swabhava maryada rakshana maryada palana haya sadhura bhushana. Bhushan means ornament. So to follow the etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. If one transgresses the laws of etiquette, people make fun of him, and thus he is vanquished in both this world and the next. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied by mind. So, we should never think, I have already done that enough in my life. So many times I have come, bow down to Gopinath. Sometimes, many times in the same day. So what's the problem? Today when the curtain opens, I won't bow down. We don't need to. We shouldn't, rather. Because if we do that, then that is transgressing the laws of etiquette. People make fun of him, and thus he is vanquished in both this world and the next. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied my mind. Who else but you could show this example? After saying this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Sanatana Goswami, and the moisture oozing from the itching sores on Sanatana's body smeared the body of the Lord. Although Sanatana Goswami repeatedly forbade Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to embrace him, the Lord still did so. Thus his body was smeared with the moisture from Sanatana's body, and Sanatana became greatly distressed. Thus both servant and master departed for their respective homes. The next day, Jagadananda Pandit went to meet Sanatana Goswami. When Jagadananda Pandit and Sanatana Goswami sat together and began to discuss topics about Krishna, Sanatana Goswami submitted to Jagadananda Pandit the cause of his distress. I came here to diminish my unhappiness by seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Lord did not allow me to execute what was in my mind. Although I forbid him to do so, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nevertheless embraces me. So here Sanatana Goswami is explaining two things here. First point he mentions to Jagadananda Pandit is, initially when I came to Puri, I came here to give up my body. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped me, convincing me. I was happy to be convinced and I gave up that idea. But now my body is still having the itchy sores, pus is actually oozing out, and today Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is embracing me. Even though I told him, no, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is well-built, tall, who can stop him? You know? So he is coming and embracing me. I couldn't actually do anything. I'm sure to go to hell because of this. And because when he embraces, what happens? The pus actually touches on the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would give a different explanation for pus. He would say, this is more better than even sandalwood, paste, he would say like that. Sandalwood pulp. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so when he does this, so he's saying, although I forbid him to do so, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu nevertheless embraces me, and therefore his body becomes smeared with the discharges from my itching sores. In this way I am committing offenses at his lotus feet, and from these offenses I shall certainly not be delivered. At the same time, I cannot see Lord Jagannatha. This is my great unhappiness. He's saying three things. First, I wanted to give up my body, not possible. Now I am coming to take Mahaprasad of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is embracing me. Third, anyway, I cannot actually go into the temple. So what's the point? None of my desires are getting fulfilled. This is Sanatana Goswami's argument here. This is my great unhappiness. I came here for my benefit, but now I see I'm getting just the opposite. Everything is going opposite. Have you got that experience? Today I'll go to temple. I'll sit and do japa. And you walk in and you see 20 devotees jumping up and down doing kirtan. And you think, all right, let me go and have some prasad. You go there, everything empty. Have you got that experience? I have had when I used to live in Paramata. You come here, all the way here, there won't be any parking spots here. What is this? No. We have to understand, Krishna, he is Rasaraj. He wants to enjoy the love of his devotee in a certain way. And he plays with his devotees differently, depending on the rasa, the mellow, which he wants to taste in that devotee's bhakti. So in this way, I am committing offenses at the lotus feet, at his lotus feet, and from these offenses I shall certainly not be delivered. At the same time, I cannot see Jagannath. I came here for my benefit, but now I see that I am getting just the opposite. I do not know, nor can I ascertain how there will be benefit for me. Sometimes you will come across, people after chanting Hare Krishna just one round, they may say, my mind is more disturbed now after chanting than before chanting. In some instances also you will come across devotees say, I have had better experience dealing with non-devotees than even devotees. Devotees are too political. We'll touch on that tomorrow. But here he is saying, I came here for my benefit, but now I see that I am getting just the opposite. I do not know, nor can I ascertain how there will be benefit for me. So then Jagadananda Pandit gives him a solution, and then they both go in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then you will see the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastising Jagadananda Pandit and glorifying Sanatana Goswami. But then you will find a very interesting interpretation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's chastisement of Jagadananda Pandit by Sanatana Goswami. We'll see tomorrow. Yes, Prabhu.
Thanks, Prabhu. In the beginning you mentioned about the happiness and distress come uninvited. So is that like without endeavor or without extra endeavor?
Without any endeavor.
Any endeavor. So that means that as in Bhakti Yoga, one must put an extra endeavor.
One must put some endeavor. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. There is no extra needed. That's what it means, actually. Even a little endeavor on this path will save one from the greatest type of fear. That's what it means. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Alpam means less. Swalpam is very less. Little, very little.
That thing is to probably to attain human birth next life.
That is to attain, even a little endeavor on this path here refers to bhakti. To be born as human is not the aspiration. That's not the greatest type of fear. It's a good point you are bringing. Generally we say greatest type of fear is to lose human form of life. But actually Acharya's comment, Prabhupada also mentions this in one lecture. Devotees are not so worried about getting human form of life. If you read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's songs, you will see, may I be born as a cockroach. Okay. May I be born as a dog. And then he himself says, may I be in that way, may I actually get your Mahaprasad. No, Mahaprasad of your devotees. No, actually I'm being very greedy, desiring something which I don't deserve at all. When you read that, you will think like, okay, we live in another planet, unfortunately. So to gain human form of life is not such a great achievement. But whether human or subhuman doesn't matter. To be a devotee, that's the greatest type of fear for devotees. To be in a position where we will still be able to remember Radha Gopinath. When you look at some cockroach, some butterflies, some moths, pray to them. They are very fortunate. We would like to be like them. I know one pigeon, actually. That pigeon has only 1.5 legs. And I have seen it for almost 10 years now. Whenever I say I can recognize that pigeon, other pigeons may be there for longer, we don't know. But I'll pray. May we also be here. You can pray to even the plants that are here. They have been here longer than any one of us. And they will continue to be here. So our aspiration is to be eternally engaged in the service of Radha Gopinath. That's all. Plants, who cares? No problem. Some merciful devotee will still come and give us Charanamrit in the morning. Some little kid will throw Mahaprasad at us sometime. Anything will happen. So, greatest type of fear is to forget Krishna. That's the greatest type of fear. But somebody may be in Gajendra's body, crocodile body, dog's body, deer's body. It's not an unfortunate situation. That's not the greatest type of fear. Greatest type of fear is forgetting Radha Gopinath.
Which you, I think, touched upon last week. 82nd shloka and 96th shlokas.
80?
82nd and 90th.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually asking last week about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu choosing his Nilachala as his avatar, then even leaving Vrindavan, leaving Navadvip to come. There in the shloka it said he was basically honoring his mother's request to stay in Jagannath.
Mm-hmm.
Did the acharyas comment on this one as what were the other hidden reasons?
For why the Supreme Lord chose Jagannath Puri? Yeah. Maybe next class.
And maybe just on the same thing. The Vaishnava etiquette, it doesn't apply in places like Goloka Vrindavan, right? It only applies perhaps in Vaikuntha planets.
Here we have to make an endeavor to do Vaishnava etiquette. In Goloka Vrindavan, that's their lifestyle. Remember, we are doing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Ragatmika Bhakti means whatever we struggle to do, they do it effortlessly. We have to endeavor to do. That's why we call it Vaidhi. Very reason why we call it Vaidhi means we don't have an inclination to do that. It's an austerity for us. For them, that's the lifestyle. Thinking about Krishna is their lifestyle. There's nothing else they can do except to think about Krishna. Whereas for us to sit and meditate on Krishna is a big endeavor. Correct? Sit so high, keep your eyes half closed, otherwise you will sleep. Sit erect, everything is there because we will sleep. And we don't want to do that. Whereas for them, they do it effortlessly. So Vaishnava etiquette, if I can rephrase that, Vaishnava etiquette is the behavior of Golokavasis. What they act is documented as the rules for us. How they act, that becomes the rule for us. Okay? Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Sri Caitanya Caritamrta ki jai, devotees in Mayapur TV, YouTube and Facebook ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath's devotees ki jai, jai Nittai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.